Good. You did well. So you have a high five? There you go. Okay. We'll begin this morning with our gathering song, which is number 34 in the gray hymnal, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire, and the words are also on the screen. So stand as you are able in body or spirit and join the singing. Good morning, and welcome to our service this morning at CVUUS. I am Ellen Flight, a member of the worship team, and this morning's service is presented by one of our two part-time interim ministers. It's a lot of clarifiers. Christina Sillari. Welcome to those of you in the room. I always find it very edifying to see out and see so many familiar faces and new faces and faces that start new and begin to return over and over. And to those attending on Zoom, hi there. And to those who will be watching sometime in the future from the link on our website. We have hearing assistants in the room at the back table with Mary and Liam if you would like to have a set of assistant devices. And let's see, we have, if you're new and visiting for the first time, on the table in the foyer is a blue sheet that will allow you to sign up with your email and address so that we can start contacting you and you can get the Wednesday blast and newsletter and information. The website has a lot of information, so I encourage you to go there. And we also hope that you will join us downstairs following the service in the Ann Ross Fellowship Hall for conversation, snacks, and something to drink. I've been asked to announce that there is no order of service this morning, and Reverend Tricia and the worship team are running an experiment for the month of September, and so we ask you to see what the experience is and then get back to us at the end of September. Or and you can talk to anybody on the worship team or to either of the ministers. Maybe you know that with interim ministers, they like to try to have us experiment with things so that we're ready when it's time to call a minister. So you will be experiencing things like this throughout the next year and a half. So get ready. We also have in the foyer a yellow card for sharing milestones and passages, which you can fill out and put into the offering plate, and it can be read to the congregation during part of the service. And if you have a more private concern or would like some help from the caring community, there's a pink card which you can put into a little envelope that has hearts all over it, and then somebody from the caring team will get in touch with you. You may have noticed that on the sign out front that our message has changed from the summer, and it indicates that the theme, this month's theme is the practice of invitation. More than 145 UU congregations across the country are also worshiping with this theme for the month of September. In fact, I saw my sister yesterday and she said, oh yeah, we're doing that too, down in Brookline, Mass. It comes from the UUA's Soul Matters program, where there are materials for our common worship, whether it might be like for your small group ministry questions or in RE, or definitely for worship and other type of activities which we'll be considering. And the theme will change each month. Now, for some reason, when I saw that the theme was practice of invitation, my mind went to one of only 2 Girl Scout badges I ever earned, despite being a Girl Scout for 4 or 5 years. And it was in part because we worked together as a troop to get it, not because I had any self-desire for badges. That troop happened to meet in the UU, it wasn't even UU yet, I'm old enough, it was just a Unitarian church in Chicago. We met there, and the badge was the hospitality badge, which I know had something to do with invitation. There was also a little exercise in practicing your phone manners, how to make a call and answer a call, which I think sounds kind of funny these days when everybody has a phone in their pocket. But, and I know that that's not the kind of invitation that the practice of invitation was thinking about, but the hospitality, maybe, perhaps. But when I think of that, I think of a little card that comes with, or now it comes on your computer. But I was thinking about what are the ways that we can be invited and to consider things. And I thought of like, one of the invitations might be, how do we live, work, and worship as some of the descendants of the people who took control of the land that the Abenaki people lived on, and what are we invited to do in response to that? We might consider, how do we actively respond when we see or hear the Black Lives Matter flag or banner? How do we stay engaged as we pass day in and day out, or week in and week out? Similarly, what are our individual or collective responses to seeing a pride flag? How can we build community and stay connected with one another as we aspire to create beloved community here at CVUUS and in the larger Addison County? How do we invite more of our neighbors to join us in this important spiritual work and on the journey? There are many people here at CVUUS who think a lot about these things, and we are fortunate that we have Tom Morgan as our ministerial intern. There he is over there. And as our community minister to help lead us to explore these and other questions of invitation. It is not his job to do the work. That is our job. But he is the inviter. And later in the service, he's going to make us aware of quite a few opportunities. And as I said, that website is really great because most everything he's going to tell you is on there, but it's friendlier to have him invite you in person. And so now, in the spirit of collective endeavor, let us worship together. I'm going to ask Taryn to come up to light our chalice, and then ask you to join in saying the words that are on the screen. How's that? O light of life, be kindled again in our hearts as we meet together this morning to celebrate the joy of human community, seeking a wholeness that extends beyond ourselves.
Good morning, church. I'm Reverend Christina Sillari, and I'm really happy to be here with you, beautiful people, on this beautiful day. Our opening words are from physician, author, and spiritual leader Rachel Naomi Remen from her book, Kitchen Table Wisdom. I mean, what's wrong with us if we can't enjoy the sounds of children during worship? That's not her quote. It's mine. Wholeness is never lost. It is only forgotten. Integrity rarely means that we need to add something to ourselves. It is more an undoing than a doing, of freeing ourselves from beliefs we have about who we are and ways we have been persuaded to fix ourselves. Often in reclaiming the freedom to be who we are, we remember some basic human quality. What we find is almost always a surprise, but it is also familiar, like something we have put in the back of a drawer long ago.
Good morning. I am Poppy, she, her. I have the delight of running the kids programs. I want to second the embracing the sound of kids. After a pretty quiet summer, for me, it's great to hear it. Today is the first day of our religious exploration program. We call it RE for short, for children and youth. Woo-woo! In honor of this, I am sharing a book on the screen that really shows one of the core beliefs that guides RE. If any kids want to come here on the floor and be closer to the screen to see, they totally can. And you do not need to. I Am Me. A book of authenticity by Susan Verdi, art by Peter H. Reynolds. There are things about me that make me different. Sometimes I stand out in a crowd. Sometimes I am not seen at all, and I feel alone. And I start to ask myself, why can't I blend in and fit the molds? Maybe I'm too little, or maybe I'm too much. But when I stop and look, I see nothing in this world is exactly the same. Difference is what makes life beautiful and amazing. And when I show who I truly am, I can find my joy, my spark. I have something to give, and I can't hold it back or hold it in. I am someone to be celebrated. I am me. While you hear these words, by the way, I encourage you to think of the me as you, rather than me, Poppy. I can have my own style and decide how I want to show up in the world. I can be grateful for my hair, my skin, my size, because they are all mine. I can be proud of my body and thankful for all it can do. I can embrace that I am perfectly not perfect, because that is what makes me interesting. I can dance to my own rhythm Anytime I want to move and groove. I can learn from others to express themselves with confidence, even when it's hard. I can be a role model for someone who's afraid to show their true colors. I can celebrate the things in this world that I decide are the most meaningful to me. Love, peace, unity, hope. I can love anyone I choose, fully and completely, with all my heart. I can notice that every creature has something unique and necessary. I can know that community, connection, and acceptance exist, and I will find them. I can surround myself with those who see me, stand up for me, and support me. I can be okay knowing not everyone will understand me because I have love for myself. I don't need to hide away, hold back, or compare myself to anyone else because I am me and I matter. You are you, and you matter. We are just right. Beautiful and amazing, exactly as we are, exactly as you are. I don't know about you, but even as I say those words, those are not all things that I am able to live all the time. So, this is a hopeful book, right? Something to hope for. In a minute, our beautiful and amazing Sparky kids and adults are going to go next door to the FEN program. But first, I have an invitation for the rest of you who are staying here. It's an invitation to play, to learn new things, to be yourself in a super supportive and inclusive space. Can you guess what it is? Yes, Becky, that's right, the RE program. RE needs you, you need RE, you just don't know it yet, just as you are right now. And we need many, many more adults to be part of RE. Right now we have 3 people leading, which is small. And I'm grateful to those 3. We have many assistants also, but we really, really need people to be willing to come even just once, to assist, to guide, to play games, to sing, to organize materials, eat popsicles, build stuff, wonder, question, play ping pong. You might wear disguises at some point. I can't say anything more about that. You might do a little, you might do a lot. Create, collaborate, decorate, celebrate, so do not wait. There's other things also besides RE that involve kids, like the Christmas pageant, which is not an RE thing, that is a CVUUS thing, and we need people to help with that. So I just want to leave you with the thought that worship here is only one way to deepen your faith and live your values. So talk to me at Social Hour or send me an email if you're interested in either finding out more or sticking in your name for something. So, kids, including the ones involved in very serious art projects, it is time for us to go. You can bring what you're working on with you if you want to. You don't have to leave it. So let's sing us out, please, with 2 verses of This Little Light of Mine. And kids, we come up here and we go down the middle aisle. And I think that's what I need to say on this. And the words are on the screen. So let's go.
Always enhanced with a little jazz hands. Now is the time to talk about pathways to connection, and as I indicated earlier, Tom Morgan is going to come up to share with you a variety of great opportunities, very exciting things that are going to be happening. So come on up.
So we're doing this thing called Community Ministry Moment just to kind of add a little element. I got to use the mic. Gosh. That's true. We have people right there where my son's running the camera. That's a good point. Thank you for that. So what I was saying is we are adding an element to our service that's called Community Ministry Moment to kind of share some of the connection opportunities in our community and kind of make you aware of not just social actions, but also connections to information, connections to partnerships, and things like that. Next slide, please. So one of the things that Mike Greenwood pointed out, and I so appreciate this, is, and Ellen mentioned it a little while ago, is to highlight the website. I would invite you to go to CVUUS.org and scroll to the bottom and look at the Community Ministry News and Opportunities website. It has a wall of text. I've been told by Margaret it looks like a wall of text, so I apologize, but it has a lot of really good information, has a lot of links to data and resources. So take a look. If you have any questions or you want to know more, please do reach out to me. Next slide. So for the past couple of weeks, very much like since I started the internship back in May, we've been spending a lot of time out in the intersections of poverty and need in our community. And we've also been opening CVUUS to opportunities for folks to come and be nourished in community with themselves, with us, with others. This past week, we connected with several folks. We connected people with health care issues, with housing issues, with immigration issues, and the reason I'm pointing this out is because I want you to know that I'm going to be talking in a little while about opportunities to march and demonstrate that there's a back end to that, right? That another way that we add to that action is to demonstrate through just being present and listening to stories and listening to needs and understanding what's valuable in all the members of our community, whether they're housed or unhoused, whether they're privileged or disenfranchised. And it's a big part of what community ministry is in the Unitarian Universalist tradition. Next slide. So a few of the events that I'd like to mention is, first of all, this week is the Middlebury College Clifford Symposium from Thursday through Saturday. And thanks to Jason Duquette Hoffman and Pam Birnbaum, CVUUS has been invited to be a co-sponsor, co-part of that symposium, and we are actually going to house a couple of events of the symposium. One of them is going to be a screening of Just Getting By, the amazing documentary about homelessness in Vermont. So that's going to be on Saturday at 4:30. You're invited. I would love to see folks here for that. We expect a big crowd. But there are also several other activities that the Clifford Symposium is hosting, several panels and other opportunities. So please go to the website, click on the events, find something you're interested in and get involved. The theme is about home and about belonging, and it's going to be a super event, and I'm really excited to be part of it. Lots of stuff open to the public. On October 6th, we have the crop walk. Thank you, Marnie Wood, for leading us in the crop walk. Where's Marnie? Thank you, Marnie Wood. Marnie has lots of information on the crop walk. We walk to end hunger. We walk to be in solidarity with those who suffer from food insecurity. Registration for this is going to be at noon on Sunday, October 6th. The walk starts at 1 o'clock. And again, Marnie has lots of information. CVUUS is registered, so please seek out me or Marnie. A week later, on Saturday, October 12th, is Mid-Pride, organized by our own Elio Farley. We're proud, CVUUS is proud to be one of Mid-Pride's sponsors, and Poppy's going to be leading the children on the March part of this, which begins at 1 o'clock in the College Park. And Liam Batches Greenwood and Mike Greenwood have graciously stepped up to organize our presence in the festival. So we're grateful for them. There's going to be music, games, food, and lots of opportunities to connect there. On Saturday, October 19th, we will again host the Mexican Consulate. Please see Rees, Anderson, Alan Moore, or Donna Blasik to volunteer to support this important event. Rees will send out a sign-up sheet later for volunteer activities. Alan tells me that hundreds of immigrant workers will be here to get assistance with official documents and also gather for good food and connection. And there's a lot more. Later in October, we're going to be hosting another book group in the community, Poverty by America, by Matthew Desmond will be the book. Please join us for that. We are also putting together a service on supporting foster families in our community, and we will be looking at the opportunity possibly to host foster families, maybe have foster family circles and programming for kids. So those are just some of the opportunities in community ministry here at CVUUS. Next slide, please. I wanted to touch on something just real quickly about systemic change. I mentioned this previously, I think maybe in July. But with the beginning of the legislative year, I wanted to just mention that if you're a person who's interested in an issue listed on the chart, it turns out that CVUUS is part of the Vermont Interfaith Action Network, which is Vermont's only faith-based advocacy group that works on systemic change with legislators and also municipalities. So we kind of have an outsized opportunity to have some impact here. So we're collaborating and researching together. We're in conversation with lawmakers. We do interviews, we research. I am personally on the Affordable Housing and Homelessness Committee. We also are on the Corrections Committee. We're taking a hard look at the Green Mountain Youth Campus concept that's planned for Virgins. It's a really interesting, high-end mental health treatment facility for justice-involved youth. If you don't know about it, I really highly recommend you take a look at that. But if you're interested in any of these topics, and you're interested in maybe being on a committee with VIA and lifting the voices of others, please come see me, because I would love to hook you up with one of the committees. Next slide. And that's all I have. I hope you'll seek me out during coffee hour or some other time. Thank you.
As at many UU congregations throughout our country and abroad, we gather a collection each week. And here at CVUUS, our collection is used to support some of our programs and also to support another organization that is in sync with what we're interested in doing. And for the month of September, we are supporting Oxfam International in their work to partner with organizations that have boots on the ground in Gaza to help with the relief efforts there. While we are doing our collection, the choir and Jen are going to be doing a music called Gate of Sweet Nectar, which is a Buddhist invocation. So, do we have people who are going to collect the offering today? I don't see anybody popping up to pass the baskets among you, but as they come, please do be as generous as you can be.
Yeah.
Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, Jen and choir, for that beautiful song. So we have 2 milestones and passages today. First, I want, on behalf of everyone, to welcome Johanna Nichols. She's here with us in service. For those of you who don't know, she's the Minister Emeritus of this congregation, and she's home, meaning she's moved back to Middlebury from Montpelier. Welcome back, Johanna. And another from your former minister, well, this is from Margie and Jordan, but it's about Reverend Barnaby. This is really beautiful, exciting news. He and his wife, Michelle, are thrilled to welcome their first grandchild this past Friday, and Barnaby sent me a picture of this little grandson is Oxford. Oh, wait, there's no name. I thought the name was Oxford. In Oxford, England, is where maybe someone knows his name. Ellie Robert Feeder. So blessings to Barnaby and Michelle and the whole family. Ailey Robert Feeder. Okay, great. So let's take a moment to fully arrive here if we haven't. Maybe sitting up tall, maybe taking a deep breath, maybe unclenching our fists and our jaws and our hearts. Inviting this beautiful earth in and around us to support us, to ground us, to hold us. Inviting the spirit of life, cosmos, God, our higher self, to come down into our hearts. Inviting ourselves into a place of wholeness. And in this place, let us hold silence together. I invite us to remain in stillness and silence as I share a prayer written by theologian, Christian mystic, educator, and civil rights leader Howard Thurman. I will sing a new song. The old song of my spirit has wearied itself out. It has long ago been learned by heart, so that now it repeats itself over and over, bringing no added joy to my days or lift to my spirit. It is a good song, measured to a rhythm to which I am bound by ties of habit and timidity of mind. The words belong to old experiences, which one spring, fresh as water from a mountain crevice, fed by melting snows. But my life has passed beyond to other levels where the old song is meaningless. So I will sing a new song. As difficult as it is, I must learn the new song that is capable of meeting the new need. I must fashion new words, born of all the new growth of my life, my mind, and my spirit. I must prepare for new melodies that have never been mine before, that all that is within me may lift my voice unto God. But oh, how I love the old familiarity of the wearied melody. How I shrink from the harsh discords of the new, untried harmonies. Therefore, I shall rejoice with each new day and delight my spirit in each fresh unfolding. I will sing this day a new song unto the Lord. Let's remain seated as we sing hymn number 396, I Know This Rose Will Open. That beautiful chant we just sang was written by my UU colleague and prolific singer-songwriter Miri Grigolia while she was in seminary. She wrote it during a death and dying class when she was invited to write her own obituary. She said it was the answer to her long pondering about who she is at her deepest self. She writes, I am the rose, opening my authentic self, even when I am afraid or when my ego gets in the way. Even when it's time to let go of my body, I know the fears will burn away and the wings of my heart, my soul, will unfurl their wings. Mary has a lot of integrity. Integrity is a powerful word. It's easier for me to live in integrity when I'm coming from a place of wholeness. In mathematics, an integer, anyone know? It's a number that isn't divided into fractions. So a person of integrity isn't divided against themselves. Are you divided against yourself? How are you divided against yourself? I am at times divided against myself in my different roles. Which role am I playing now? Preacher, pastoral minister, mother, daughter, activist, shaman, friend, teacher. Yet more and more as time floats by, I am less different in each of these roles. Although I do keep my cursing to a minimum in certain roles. But when I remain grounded in my authentic self and I'm open to spirit, I am differentiated. I am sovereign onto myself. My thoughts and feelings and experiences flow through me without attachment. Then my ego becomes less dependent on any of the roles I play or any of my identities, and I stay undivided. This is what shamans call hollow bone. One of my indigenous teachers said, "We are called to become hollow bones for our people and anyone else we can help, and we are not supposed to seek power for our own personal use and honor. What we bones really become is the pipeline that connects Great Spirit, the helpers, and the community together. When I am in my hollow bone, I'm connected to all that is, to myself, to you, to the natural world, and then I feel whole." My favorite explanation of wholeness comes from quantum physicist and philosopher David Bohm. In his book, Wholeness and the Implicit Order, anyone ever read it? He writes, "Some might say, quote, fragmentation of cities, religions, political systems, conflict in the form of wars, general violence, fratricide, etc. are the reality. And wholeness is only an ideal toward which we should perhaps strive." He continues, "But this is not what is true. Rather, what should be said is that wholeness is what is real, and that fragmentation is the response of this whole to human action guided by illusionary perception, which is shaped by fragmentary thought." So that makes me feel that wholeness is not a place I'm trying to get to, but it is an attitude or an approach to life. It's a way. So if I can have a coherent approach to reality, which is a lot of different things, because there's many realities in the world, as we know, then reality will respond coherently to me. Because at our essence, we are whole, but our misperception of ourselves and the world and our ego minds wants to separate everything, leading to feelings of disconnection and division. Unfortunately, our culture, our greater culture, does not support our being whole. If we remembered our wholeness, we wouldn't need very much. But we are often brainwashed by big pharma, spiritual gurus, the media, artificial intelligence, for-profit corporations. They all somehow convince us we are not good enough, or that suffering is not okay, and that we need something exterior to make us complete. We have been persuaded we need to fix ourselves. The truth is, we are enough. Each one of us is enough just as we are. We are complete and whole in our brokenness, in our helplessness. Let's say it out loud. I am enough. Louder. Some of you aren't saying it. Last time. Okay, now here's the really scary part. Look at your neighbor in their eyes and say, you are enough. Ellen, you are enough. Okay, do it again. Look at another neighbor. Turn around. Jen, you are enough. The more we can live authentically, the more we understand that we are enough. The minute we incarnate, we are enough. Barnaby and Michelle's grandson, right now, is enough. But we're given a life sentence and we don't know how long it will go. As children, my perception, and this is proven by various things, we are fantastic at being ourselves until the age of 7 or 8. And then we become self-conscious, and maybe we aren't as good at being ourselves. As we age, we become more of ourselves, perhaps because we care less about what others think. Perhaps we are able to speak our truth more easily. So when we're really young, we're good at being ourselves, and when we're really old, we're good at being ourselves. But what about all that time in between, from like 7 or 8 to 70s or 80s? This in-between time is most of our lives. And when we are forced to adapt, socialize, accommodate our sense of who we are. In her book, Never Not a Lovely Moon, The Art of Being Yourself, Caroline McHugh talks about the I complex, which helps us figure out who we really are. She advocates for a state of interiority. I love that word. Instead of inferiority or superiority. When we have an inferiority complex, anyone ever have that? We make ourselves less than others. When we have a superiority complex, anyone ever have that? No. We believe we are better than everyone. In some ways, CVUUS think they're better than everybody, including myself. But if we practice living from that place of interiority, when things are going well, when things are not falling apart, then when they do fall apart, we may be able to remain more intact, staying true to our inner being. And sometimes it is those shocking life events that bring us back into ourselves, right? We lose our job, a primary relationship ends, we get a diagnosis, a loved one dies, a child gets sick, a war begins, and so on. I remember being catapulted back into myself when my beloved grandmother died after 9/11, when I left my 11-year ministry at First Parish in Portland. Every loss, every little loss prepares us for our own death. When we arrive at our own death and we have lived from our interior self, the final release of our body in this earth may be liberating. So what events in your life have invited you more deeply into being who you are or moved you towards wholeness? What about the natural world? Being in nature always makes me feel less divided, even if I simply place my bare feet on the earth for 5 minutes. Nature is one of the best wholeness teachers because the earth, our Mother Gaia, is in her essence whole. So when we spend time in nature, in the water, the woods, the sun, the wind, with the trees and the flowers, the geese and the goats, we become less fragmented and remember there's nothing we need to do and no one we need to be. You guys doing okay? So there's a book called In Things That Join the Sea and Sky, Field Notes on Living by Mark Nepo. I don't know how many of you know Mark Nepo, but he got really sick, and that illness made him write some beautiful things. So this is an excerpt called The Winter Cabin. My footprints in getting here are filling with snow. The fire is dying down. The paper in this journal is made from the bark of a locta tree that grew in the foothills of the Himalayas. The veins of its pulp are visible in the page. Some days I feel so overrun by the world that I long to be a piece of bark stripped for others to write on. Though hardships cover us, the path of individuation, of meeting life until we are everywhere, requires us to shake off falsehoods and illusions. We have all we need within us. My thoughts now flutter like leaves in some ancient wind I've always known. Outside, the wind is blowing clumps of snow from the branches, and a snow-covered feeder sways tweet feet from this window. I want to shake off all my doubts like snow. My life to this hour is waiting to be uncovered so I can be touched completely by life. I vow to stay uncovered longer this time. So I ask you, what are the falsehoods and illusions and doubts that you have, that you're carrying, that you need to just shake off, release, in order to be who you are? How can we meet our life to be who we are, not just when we're alone, but everywhere? The great teacher Parker Palmer writes in his book, Hidden Wholeness, wholeness does not mean perfection. We know that, right? It means embracing brokenness as an integral part of life. He believes our truest self, our inner light, our soul, rarely shows up in everyday life because, I love this, our soul feels shy. He also thinks that our fraught relationship with solitude is a primary reason why we are fearful of showing up in the world as we are. He says solitude does not necessarily mean living apart from others, rather it means never living apart from oneself. And community does not mean living face to face all the time with others. Rather, it means never losing the awareness that we are all connected. So the bigger question then becomes, for all of you, for me too, how does inviting wholeness into our lives intersect with our communities? Many of you know here at CVUUS, a group of us are working with Paula Cole-Jones this congregational year in a process called Shaping the Leading Edge, an invitation to collectively shaping cultural change in our congregation through building community of communities. Raise your hand if you're part of that cohort. Yeah, there's a number of us here. We just met yesterday with Paula for almost 4 hours on Zoom. It was pretty amazing. But part of this process included last Sunday after worship, a workshop with UUA consultant Reverend Brock Leach, and he called that workshop Multicultural Future at CVUUS, which a dozen of us attended. Brock explained that to create a spiritually vital congregation, which is a place where all lives are enriched, we need to move, and I know some of you have heard this and maybe you're sick of hearing it, but I'm going to keep saying it. We need to move from a dominant family-like cultural paradigm to a community-based multicultural paradigm. And I was so heartened to hear that he named integrity and wholeness of us as individuals as crucial to creating a spiritually vital community. We also took an IDI, Intercultural Development Inventory. It was this long kind of test. And we learned as a group, our group, which is a microcosm of all of you, that we are medium or average at being multicultural. How does that sit with you? What does that mean? We have work to do. And of course, some of the work Tom presented, and he did say this, but I'm going to say it again. One of the ways to do the work is to be in relationship with the people who are in need, talking to them, listening to them, right? And then this idea of wholeness for ourselves is really important, right? So we can keep inviting ourselves and each other into wholeness, to coming to the humble truth that we are no better or worse than anyone. And I mean anyone. I could name someone. I won't name him, but anyone. Really, can you do it? Can you do it? Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah. Okay, what else can we do? We can spend time in nature. We can practice being a hollow bone. We can vow to stay uncovered. We can tell ourselves we are enough. We can tell each other we are enough and they're enough. We can spend time in solitude. And we can become friends with death. And if we do all this, maybe, just maybe, we can become the pipeline that connects Great Spirit, the helpers, and the community to create spaces where people can be who they are here and feel empowered. And then perhaps experience a new melody and sing a new song, both individually and collectively. Amen. Our closing words are a poem by a most celebrated 14th century Persian poet, Hafiz. It's called Circles. The moon is most happy when it is full. The sun always looks like a perfectly minted gold coin, polished and placed in flight by God's playful kiss. And so many varieties of fruit hang plump and round. I see the beautiful curve of a pregnant belly shaped by a soul within and the earth itself. I have gotten a hint. There is something about circles the beloved likes. Within the circle of a perfect one, there is an infinite community of light. After Ellen extinguishes the chalice, which we're doing very formally today, we can say that little line. Ready? We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. I just want to thank Liam and Mary and Wesley and Jen and Ellen and Rich, who was our gatherer, and the choir, and the next person who's going to play a song for us.